Are there any surprises that you learned upon becoming the state chaplain for the Department of Minnesota?
Yes, there was. The biggest surprise that found was that there are so many denominations within the American Legion, and
Oh,
how,
yeah.
as a chaplain, you have to be
Hmm.
respectful of all the denominations, not by your wording, do not offend any faction within the Legion itself. And then
Yeah.
the writing of the articles itself every month for the Legion paper,
Uh-huh.
it was kind of a surprise. I just wasn't aware of the velocity, but I've been hearing a lot of comments back from a lot of people. It does get read, and that is reassuring to hear.
They're reading what you're writing.
Yes,
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
it
So,
is.
Dean,
And I
uh-huh.
wasn't aware that so many people did actually read certain articles within the paper. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, by hearing from different individuals, I've become aware of that the messages that people do put out in that paper, it does get noticed.
Yeah, because one of the reasons that chaplains exist is really to help individuals develop their relationship with their God.
Right.
Yeah, and we're not a religious organization, but we respect everyone's faith or spirituality.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's what you do. Um, Dean, you are the state chaplain for a year, right?
Correct.
Okay. What was there interest that you had in running because you had to get elected in the
Right.
state of Minnesota? What was some of the reasons that you decided that you wanted to run for the state?
Well, I was interested in running for an office within the state of remaining active within the department itself.
Uh-huh.
And I had tried a couple of different positions that I had held before,
Right?
and I was aware that the department itself does not normally elect individuals that have been in that position before. But I've always had an interest in the ministry and philosophical biblical studies.
Uh-huh.
Um, I did take a course in religion in college, so I do
Uh-huh.
have a quarter of biblical studies, and I
Oh.
do realize that a lot of posts within the state of Minnesota,
Mhm.
they put a person in that position just to say they have a name there. And
Oh, sure.
that's not what the position is for. The
Right.
position is to lead some kind spiritual guidance and
Uh-huh.
help and comfort in any way that they can.
Okay.
It may just be a kind word, but I wanted to
Mm.
do that within the American Legion, and just so um, I'm going to kind of go off the script here a little bit.
We don't really have a script, Dean. That's the
Okay,
great thing. Yeah.
I do have kind of my background. A lot of people look to me like, "Oh, you're just a partier. Or you're just the black sheep. You're more of a get out there and have fun guy.
Uh-huh.
But my reasons have changed. There's more to life than just going out drinking, partying, and having a good
Oh,
time.
sure.
Um, Understanding your faith and
Mhm.
just where everything you have, where it comes from. We can't take
Oh,
anything for granted. Life is a gift to us. It's
right.
not in our control. We have to
Yeah.
realize that God gave us our life as a gift each and every day that we live. And so I was interested in becoming a chaplain to try
Mhm.
to relay that message to the other individuals within the American Legion.
Because who you are spiritually speaking and your relationship with God or gods, whomever it may be, is a process, is what I'm hearing. It changes and it develops and it deepens, or it can deepen. And for
Right.
you, it deepened.
It deepened immensely
Yeah.
because as growing up, I grew up in a very religious family
Okay.
in the Lutheran faith.
Uh huh.
Um, my father was a lay minister. My uncle was a missionary in Japan,
Uh huh.
and I have a brother who is a chaplain as well. And so they kind of looked down on me like, "Oh yeah, you're not any good for the family." But I did
Oh.
realize growing up that no matter what I did,
Hmm.
um, you don't want to do it over and over again. But God is always there to forgive you. no matter what
Oh,
you do. But you have to learn from your mistakes and try not to do them again. Because no
right.
matter what we do, we
Hmm.
cannot earn our gifts from God. He gives them to us regardless of what we do, and we need to appreciate that and not take them for granted.
So it sounds like your relationship with God has become one of gratitude and living life out of a sense of great thankfulness. Is that right?
Yes, it is. We need. I know I'm very thankful for what I have each and every day,
Oh,
and I try to wake up every morning, do devotions in the morning, and say a prayer,
okay.
thanking God for everything that He's given us, and then voice my concerns and what I would like to do for the day, and ask for His guidance as we go through that day, each and every step of the way.
Dean, what post do you call home? In
Post 357, which is Peterson Trip Post in Ashby, Minnesota.
Okay, and what district is that in?
That's in District 7.
District 7.
Yes,
And so thank you. And so you were started becoming the department chaplain, state chaplain in July, and then you're going to hold that office until someone else replaces you, right?
in July of
Yeah.
2024. Yes,
Yeah, because we get to be a chaplain for a year.
right.
I think one of the great things, and you probably appreciate this too, in the American Legion, is you don't have to be a professional pastor. You don't have to attend theological um, education processes or anything of that nature. But the American Legion has always recognized that who we are spiritually and our connection to our faith um, is very important and helps determine who we are and changes, as what you're saying, right?
Right. And yeah, like you were saying that they do not recommend that we be of the um, minister of or of
Right.
clergy, but just be an individual who shows a good moral standing
Hmm.
and has a sense of leadership and is able to forecast or broadcast that to the other individuals within the organization.
So this organization, the American Legion, recognizes on so many levels that we develop as we lead too. And the role of faith in that, or your spirituality as a person, is part and parcel of leadership. Yeah, it sounded like there's requirements to be a chaplain at the post level or at the district level or the county level or even at the state level. You said moral character, was that one of them?
Moral character, and then
Mm.
be someone who can show a sense of leadership, and
Okay,
that is uh, kind of goes back to leadership through your faith in your spiritual upbringing. How can you relate that to the individuals of the various denominations within the American Legion itself?
right. One of the things that I always appreciated about the American Legion is you have atheists, you have agnostics, you've got pagans, you have Native Americans, you have Missouri Synod, you have Catholics, and we all come together. And you're responsible and your role as a state chaplain is to be able to nourish them spiritually. And you do it through your writings in the newsletter.
Well, not I do it through my writings of the articles in the newsletter, but then you have to be aware and available if the need arises somewhere in the department itself. Let's say if
Sure.
they somebody in a post or whatever doesn't have a chaplain, doesn't know a minister, and requests that they would request someone to provide spiritual uplifting to someone in need. Let's say
Mhm.
comfort to someone in the hospital, or someone who is suffering from mental issues, or not necessarily by doing it yourself, but
Okay.
knowing how to get them to the right connections so that they may
Oh,
receive help.
yeah, exactly. Like, what are your relationships so you can provide those resources? So
And
you have to be available.
right, and one of the acronyms that I always like to use when I
Uh-huh.
am trying to is ask,
Okay.
acknowledge your problems, support their problems, and always stay in touch. Never let a person down. Don't ever talk to them just once. If this person is in need, wants some comfort, whatever, make sure you follow up and ask them in a week or so, well, how are you doing? Can we be of any further assistance? And try to share your own knowledge with that individual. I do know that right now I'm suffering from severe anxiety.
Okay.
And I am on anxiety medication.
Okay.
But I've met with a pastor in my church once, and I'm going to start doing that every other week. Just sitting down with him for 15, 20 minutes, just talking through the problems of the day, problems that I have experienced with them since we had last talked. I do know that has helped. But with my anxiety, I know when one is coming on. I just get really hyper, I have to go. And as the Bible says to all people, do not be anxious. Wait upon me, for I will give you rest. We need to do that, learn to do that in our lives. We need to slow down, take a deep breath, and just thank God for our life in a daily situation, and know that He will be there no matter what our problems are. He died for us. We need to live our life for Him and show other people that He lives through us.
So for you, being able to talk with your pastor and recognize that spiritual part of who you are helps manage your anxiety.
Yes, it does.
As well as medication for that biological piece to kind of help slow you down.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, relationships are important. They're the crux, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people take relationship not serious enough. They may just blow them off. If you want to develop a good relationship with an individual, spiritually, not emotionally, whatever, you need to realize, what can I offer that person, and what can that person give back to me? It's not just a one-sided. You need to take all issues into consideration, and thank them for counting on you to help them and be of assistance to them in everything that you do.
I'm hearing gratitude come through again.
I'm very grateful for what I have and for everything I have from day to day.
Yeah, and it sounds like that was earned through life lessons too.
Very true, it was, yes.
Yeah. And so then you're able to share that in your capacity as the state chaplain and evidence it by your leadership.
Well, I'm trying to. I do the best I can, and I do the best I can, but I think it's getting better each day by the more that I rely on the grace of God.
Yeah.
So as long as a person relies on the grace of their God and whatever denomination they are,
right,
lives will improve. Sometimes they don't improve in the way that we would like them to, but we have to wait, because the answer always comes. It may be later down the road, but just be patient. Do not be over anxious. That answer will always come.
You know, I grew up, and I think you might have grown up about the time of microwaves hit the market.
Yes.
Yeah. So our impatience or our ability to be patient lessened. And now we have phones, and I know my kids, and I don't know about your kids, where waiting on the microwave was just a lesson in patience. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we used to have to wait for the cooktop. But yeah, patience is important.
In fact, when I was growing up, we didn't have computers.
Right, we didn't have computers.
So yeah, so I had to learn this all over again. I had to learn it all, and so it was all new to me, because there was not such a thing as a cell phone or a computer when I first grew up. We had the wall phone. We had the party line.
Oh, I remember the party line too.
That's why I grew up. I mean, it's been a learning curve my whole life, and trying to adapt to all the different changes in life. And like
there's something to be, you're always learning.
Right.
Right. And as the state chaplain, do you have any plans after this?
I had been anticipating maybe going for another office, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet, because as the American Legion, they say they're a non-political organization.
Yep.
You see the politics becoming more and more and more involved within the organization itself. And
Oh,
at least I think I have. But
okay.
I might be wrong in saying this, but it always seems like you have a few higher up people who like to control the whole thing. And I don't like that. I don't. But
Right.
I know that you have to be willing to help things change. But so I haven't decided if I'm going to or not.
Okay.
It's still an ongoing
Right.
process.
One of the big pieces of being about the department chaplain is that annual memorial service
Right.
that you're in charge of.
I've contacted the auxiliary chaplain, and we are
Okay.
meeting now this next week to a meeting
Oh,
to start putting the program together and see what portions of the program the auxiliary chaplain would like to have a part of, and like put together what
okay.
music do they have in mind for a speaker. I've already asked someone to be a speaker. I'll have to
Okay.
follow up with him, but I want to know what Robin's ideas are as far as what can we do for the program to maybe include something that hasn't been, or should we stay the
Mhm.
same way, or what can
Right.
we do to get the message to all the individuals in the American Legion that all Legion members are important, those who are serving and those who have gone before us, that we need to pay memorial to each and every one of them, and then to recognize the Gold Mothers who are in attendance for their
Oh.
sacrifice of their loved ones to their service in the country.
So the memorial service isn't just the American Legion, it includes the auxiliary too. And then so you help plan it with the other arms or the other pieces of who the American Legion is. We call it the family, the American Legion family, and we come together annually to recognize those that have died, legionnaires. And then does the auxiliary then recognize their deceased that have been in there?
I believe that is an option.
Oh,
I, I can't remember for sure, but I don't know if the names are ever read off, because
oh,
that list would
okay.
be enormous for the whole year for those who have passed from convention to convention.
So we
We could
recognize those
we'd
that
be
have
reading
died.
names and names and names. I think it is basically we would like to recognize all those within the American Legion family who have departed us from the time of our last convention until this convention. That
Okay.
way, it covers the American Legion, the Legion Auxiliary, Sons of
Uh-huh.
American Legion, and the Legion Riders as well.
One of the things about the American Legion that it happens no matter post district or county or department level is there's always the invocation and the benediction.
Right.
And yeah, okay. And so you're responsible for that whenever we get together to meet as a state.
Yes, and I have gone to a couple of the rallies this year,
Okay.
and each rally that has been there, their chaplain has done benediction and invocation. And now for the rally coming up in March is the appreciation rally
Uh-huh.
and the DEC meeting. So I will be required to do a benediction or invocation benediction at both those meetings.
So you have
And
to
I
be
do have
present.
a couple books that give me
Uh-huh.
ideas on how to on
Okay.
invocation and benedictions. But I not only go by that material,
Uh-huh.
but I do put in some of my own philosophy or ideas on
Uh-huh.
why are we here? Why should we
Okay.
be thankful? What are we hoping to accomplish? And may it be done with sincerity,
Hmm.
great discernment, and that our actions represent our common goal, and that is the working for the American veteran themselves at all times.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Did you have anyone run against you? Um,
Yes,
okay.
there was
One
uh,
individual?
one individual out of the second
Okay.
and another one out of the third. The
Okay.
individual from the third district had to drop out due to severe health issues
Oh,
and wasn't able to attend the convention.
Okay.
And the other one was Robin Olson's husband out of the second was actually running against me.
And so then all of the Legionnaires present then get together, or not get together, but they go into the booth and pick who they want to be their chaplain for the following year. And you were selected.
Yes. And each one of the people who are running for the position go around to each of the caucuses of each of the districts and present themselves. What do I feel are my qualifications to lead in this position? And just let them know, be aware of who we are and what we stand for.
So if you're a Legionnaire and you want to be a chaplain, you have the opportunity to do that no matter where you're at, is what I hear you saying.
Yes, no matter where you're at. The only thing that I think when a person is elected to the chaplaincy position, everybody is watching you. Everybody is aware of who you are. And you need to lead by the example. You can't be out there living your life like, whoa, I can do whatever I want. You have to set the example for the whole organization, because your life is who you are. Let them know who you live for and who you have your faith and your trust in, and where that comes from. But you get to let people know by talking to each of the districts in their caucus. You need to let them know that what you have done, why you feel you can run for the position, and what you hope to accomplish. And that's how they choose who they want as a chaplain for the next year.
The democratic process will elect the chaplain.
Right.
And, but you have to let them know who you are.
Yes, you need to be aware of and be truthful. Don't go out there and just make up a story to tell them. You need to be truthful with yourself and truthful to who you are speaking to.
Right.
People can tell that. They know when you're making up a story very easily. And so you have to be straightforward and truthful with everyone that you are talking to.
Right. Right. So this is a privilege to be able to provide that spiritual leadership for a year for the department.
It is. And it's something that whoever does have the position needs to take seriously and be aware of just what that position does mean to everybody who comes in contact with you within the organization itself.
This podcast is going to be on the Department of Minnesota's YouTube channel. So I tell you that because I'm going to ask, if people want to get in contact with you, is there a way that they can contact you to talk? It sounds like you're available if somebody wants a listening ear. And then you said you're also a resource, or if they're looking for resources.
Right.
And so how do they contact you, Dean?
Okay, I can give you my name, address, phone number, email. I can do all that. My name is Dean Knutson. I live at 303 London Road, Marshall, Minnesota. 56258. My phone number is 320-766-0502. And if you do try to call me, make sure you leave a message, because a lot of times I will not pick up an unknown number, because you get so many telemarketers and everything else that are unknown numbers. You don't know who to expect. But my email address, the best one to use, is deknutson29@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then contact me at any time, and I will do whatever I can to help any individual who should call me or write to me. I will either help them personally or get them contacts of which way to go, whether it be spiritually, mentally. Let's say if a person needs help with contacting someone within the VA system for healthcare. I use the Fargo VA system, and it's a very, very good hospital. So I have contacts up there that I can call and get a contact information for whoever.
Oh, wonderful. It sounds like you're a very transparent human being. You gave us your phone number, your address, and your email, and it sounds like you're very available. And so I appreciate that.
You are very welcome, and it's an honor for me to serve in this position this year.
Yeah.
And like I said, I am taking this position seriously. That people can see who you are by your actions and how you live
Right.
your life.
Yes. And if they have any questions or concerns, it sounds like they contact you.
Right. But like I said, if they do try to call, please leave a message so that I will call you back as soon as I can.
With their contact
Yes.
information. I appreciate that. Any parting words of wisdom you want to give to us?
All I can say is to the various denominations and individuals within the American Legion, be truthful to your God, to your faith. Be serious on how you live your lives, because people see how you live. Well, if he's not living a good life, why should I? If they can see the love that you have for your God through your actions, it may build the love for their God in their denomination itself, which is hopefully is what it will do by my living my life sincerely. That hopefully I can pass that on to somebody else just through my actions, by just saying, like I said, in times of need, just slow down, say a prayer,
Slow down.
thank God for all the gifts that He has given you.
Thank you for your wisdom. I appreciate that. We're going to leave our audience to their day. Thanks.